Good afternoon and welcome to the Forex Expo Dubai. I'm here with my second podcast of the day, and I have Michael Ayres, CEO, partner, and one of the founders of the Rostro group. Mike, how are you today?
I'm very good. Yeah, thanks for having me, Fraser. I've got a challenge keeping up with everyone else that's already been in, but yeah, looking forward to it.
How are you finding the event?
It's good. It's busy as always. I think it feels a little bit more well organized, which is great. And as always, we've also hit it out of the park in terms of our setup. So very, very proud of us and the team that's organized it all.
Excellent. Well, today we're going to be having a little conversation about Rostro,
Yep.
introducing the audience and some of our customers who work with us, who we are as a group, what we do, what long-term vision is, and not just what we do on a daily basis. So, Mike, you founded Rostro in 2021 with a clear mission to remove friction from the financial markets, but more importantly, what does that mean in practice? We hear these buzzwords all the time. So, in your words, what does that mean?
So, I mean, spot on. I mean, we all talk about kind of key aspirational goals that we want in mission statements and our vision. If I simplify what Rostro is all about, why we set up in the first place, we felt like there was a highly competitive marketplace that was pretty much driven around competition on price, competition on marketing spend, but there was a space for actually adding value. And what we look at as value is market access. So can I get access to trade foreign exchange, metals, digital assets, equities, futures, but all within one relationship. Yeah. And then further on from that, we were looking at synergy benefits from inside the group that allow us to monetize more effectively, to offer our products more seamlessly. So in the future, payments, we're looking at banking solutions, asset management business. Customers, when they come to Rostro, don't need to go elsewhere. That was the key thing that we were focused on.
I'd say that. I mean, something we've discussed multiple times or joining. One of the reasons is the senior management experience through here. And I think something you mentioned there was about products. What our offering allows us sometimes to, let's say, fall into the good opportunities than we have. Well, something that I see that as key is the leadership, not just from yourself, but that something you've mentioned before is leadership isn't just about separate strategy, but it's also about being in the right place in the right time. But do you think that's sometimes about you or the market? And why is that important to MENA individually?
Very good question. I mean, I believe the environment sat parallel with the people, the experience, the knowledge. They're equal. You can take great people, just like in sporting terms, you can take a load of great players. If you just put them on a pitch and see how they get on, they won't succeed. So for me, it was about the structure of our group, our organization design, which is where our offices are, where our key responsible leaders are, spread out. So we're close to the markets, we're close to the clients. And to be frank, like we wanted to have good people. We want good people that are honest, good people that work hard. There are a lot of smart people in the world, but for me, the secret sauce is smart with authentic, being good guys that can work together. And we want that mix. So yeah, we've looked at that. And MENA definitely is a big part of that. I mean, I've been here personally now for a year and a half, and it has given me extra impetus. The business is doing fantastically in terms of where we are in other parts of the world. So it made sense to come here and look at, well, how do we go and penetrate the Middle East?
I think that is very true. I mean, whether it's on the B2C side, the B2B, I think we all have active discussions, very different opinions. We're very lucky that we're all very sociable and get on very well. But I think that distinguish between person as person and business is key. And I think it's a difficult balance to have. Yeah. And something you mentioned there is emerging markets. How do you balance those personalities, the business with, let's say, emerging markets and creating and developing that opportunity?
Yeah. I think one of the key gaps that we saw at the beginning of our journey was that the phrase underbroked or underbanked, again, like we said earlier, these things get thrown around. But we genuinely saw that. We would go into territories, we've seen it in previous companies, and the product would be, average at best. It would cost a lot for customers. They would get limited offering. So we said, okay, from a product standpoint, we need to do better. Yeah. And that's the whole industry. So how do we package up a truly multi-asset offering, international standard, take it to corners of the globe that have been underserved, but not just talk about it, prove it. Open offices, get licenses, invest in local talent. We're looking at blending kind of senior expertise, these stakeholders that have done a lot in their careers, with up and coming, young, hungry, enthusiastic staff. So we've got this real mix of kind of core, strong, we've been there, we've done that, we've got decades of experience. And then we've got these people that are coming in saying, let's talk about AI, let's talk about Web3, let's test, let's think. And they're on the ground and they know how it all works. So we're doing a lot of good work to try and blend that. It's not easy, but we want to set some big targets and go and get them.
Well, I think that's it. And something you mentioned there about product, the market as a whole, we see multi-asset as playing option. Something I talked about with Saul in my earlier podcast was how our ability in the normal retail space, our experience of all of us, is enable us to take a very what's called a TradFi product, which I do love these days. This TradFi product and make it more accessible to the market. And I think, again, it comes from an upper point, it dilutes down, which then allows the managers, the regional heads, the department heads, the MDs to have that ownership of a product and not necessarily be constrained by lanes, but take the vision if I'd implemented that. So Rostro spans multiple business areas. Maybe you can talk us through a little bit more of our ecosystem, differing people, the differing entities.
Yeah, so, I mean, our secret sauce, our identity really comes from what's within. So across our group, we've run with a pillar structure, retail brokerage, institutional brokerage, payments, asset management through a hedge fund that we're setting up, and then fundamentally banking, which is the last of the 5 pillars. I would say that what sits kind of underneath that is a fantastic blend of asset class experience in equities, futures, digital assets, spot FX. We've got experts in MENA, Asia. We've just taken everyone and blended them together. I think the net effect of that becomes, and you balance growth with operational efficiency, but the net effect of that is we can do things within our group that people around us that we're competing with have to go out and find solutions for. So we own more of the value chain. We're in control of our destiny. And at the end of this, well, what does it mean for a customer? Quicker, better, cheaper, wider access to everything that we offer, which puts us, in my opinion, at the front of everyone in this room.
I tell you what, I definitely need to get you on the phone with more partners and clients because this is by me a little bit now to give you some of my own money. I'll give it that, I say. So in this competitive industry, I have my opinion, but what's your opinion that is our USP that sets Rostro apart from everyone else?
So I think a few things really differentiate us. I think that there's a lot of good companies, so I'll respectfully say that. Few things we've consciously chose that we wouldn't do and then what we would do. We will not be racing to zero, competing on being the cheapest in the world. That's not, we're competitive, but we add value. So you might go to a broker down the street, they may have a slightly tighter spread or slightly cheaper of something, but fundamentally you get a lot less for that. So we don't want to be cheapest. We're not racing to zero. The ability to get access from one venue, one group is what separates us. And I've seen it. I've worked in places before where I have to knit all this stuff together and you're patching things from different places and it's challenging, it's expensive, it's risky, it doesn't work properly. So for me, I see the whole industry in 5 years, everyone will be multi-asset. If you aren't, you probably become obsolete and you're behind.
I think it's also true multi-asset.
Definitely true multi-asset.
CFD.
Exactly. And you hear that again, respectfully, people put the wrong terminology against things. If you're multi-asset, you have to prove it. Are you able to do physical shares? Have you got a securities permission within your license? Are you really able to go out and cater for everything we're talking about? Or are you looking to just wrap it up and kind of promote from a marketing standpoint, which may work for a minute, but it certainly doesn't work long term?
100%. I think for me, when people ask me our USP, I'm very similar to that. We may not have the tightest spreads, but it doesn't matter what happens. Everyone gets paid. Everyone earns their money. You will find second to none in terms of execution in the industry. And it's something I'm very proud of. Again, I've been a client of yours, you've been a client of mine. And again, it's that relationship.
100%.
You know what's expected from both sides. So innovation doesn't just happen. How do you as a leader and how do you as the company control and direct that innovation to be productive and obviously meet timeframes and give clients what they need?
It's a balance. I mean, we're listening to the market, so we need to understand what does the customer base need, what do they want. Sometimes they don't know, so you have to try and take certain information in, certain data, understanding themes. So we pay attention to regulatory changes in terms of the different frameworks that regulators may be looking to introduce. We participate in white papers because we're trying to have a constructive way of influencing the way that the industry is going to go going forwards. And then I kind of look at it like there are a lot of people that typically will do the same things. So removing the temptation to fall back into that allows me to give any member of staff permission to think outside the box. Culturally, we're encouraging everyone to not be afraid to fail, learn. I'm a big believer in constant education. I think every time I felt I've learned or developed something, it's only shown me there's so much more to come. But I'm happy with that, and I love that, and I love learning from you guys, and I pick up stuff all the time from people. So I feel culturally, if we embrace that, and then we have those fundamentals around market intelligence, research, working with regulators, working with government bodies, that package puts us at the front, but in a structured way.
100%. For me, I always say the three USPs we have is the 3 Ps: people, product, and proposition. We've got amazing people. We're honest. We cultivated the team very closely. The product, you can come. We're a one-stop, and we're going to be expanding even more over the next 12 to 18 months. But then the proposition, it's fairly priced, not the cheapest, but ideal for what you need to be. So everyone gets treated fairly. I think that's one of the big things we're seeing is digital assets. You said that this is a key pillar of growth. Maybe you can take us through what you mean by digital assets, where they are now, and what you see as the future.
So, I mean, our industry saw, I think 2020, there was this wave of interest in pretty much Bitcoin. Then it diluted, and then we had some challenges that we're seeing around the world. Regulators weren't quite sure how they're going to have oversight, what they're going to put in place. So that's key, and that's happened in part. I mean, here's a great region. VARA has clear regulatory framework. What we look at as Rostro is there are a lot of businesses that are very, to use our phrase earlier, TradFi focused. Then there are a bunch of businesses that are very DeFi, and then some are touching each other's world. Where we sit is right in the middle, that intersection of where traditional finance and then the future, where settlements and fundamentally a new asset class will emerge and exist, solutions around speed for payments. All of this is where some of our financial ecosystem is fractured right now. So we take what's always been there. Gold is a hot topic, traded since the start of time. It's not going anywhere, so it's going to stay. But you add in an element of what the future looks like, and then there's Rostro, sat in the middle, perfectly balanced ecosystem to solve traditional and kind of future forward-looking asset classes.
I think whether it's DeFi, TradFi, there's a lot of crossover. Something we're seeing quite a lot of growth in, as well as the DeFi, let's say the DeFi market, digital assets. You're seeing it in property, especially in the Middle East. It's a key point. One of the things I've said to people, in the UK, you're looking at 30 days to close a house. Here, you can send them the money in the morning. You have the papers delivered to your office in the afternoon. Which is, for most Westerns, it's a very extreme experience that everything moves so quickly. So obviously, positioning ourselves in manner, these kind of things have been important. Looking forward for you, what do you think is next for Rostro? But what, more importantly, excites you as an individual about?
I mean, we may need more time if I have to talk about everything that excites me. But no, genuinely speaking, I see that we're entering a different style of growth phase. So we have grown tremendously in the last 3 years. What we're now organizing ourselves to do next year is what I call kind of this is the sustainable growth phase. So we're already one of the biggest brokers. To get there and stay there takes operational efficiency. We're looking at how AI can enable and support the business. It's not a silver bullet. It doesn't solve every broker's problems. But I see us pushing next year the core products that we've kind of laid as foundations this year. Our crypto pricing, which was 24/7, market leading in terms of spread, margin. Every retail broker here should be queuing up to speak to our guys. And then you add in the traditional product, which is our futures business. Again, a completely different proposition, but we partnered with CQG, we're working with the CME, so we're doing it properly. And then you build that on top of something that we've delivered, which is our own proprietary systematic pricing risk management product. And I've heard it from people who have said it to me today, how have you guys done all of this? And for me, I'm immensely proud because it's the efforts of everyone inside, that legal agreements, technology integration, commercial proposition. So packaging all of this up next year really is about us shock and awing across the world, basically.
And cross-department sharing of knowledge.
Exactly.
I think for me, that's one of the things that I love about Scope and Rostro as a whole, is that nobody is possessive of what they have. Yeah. Everyone wants other opinions to come in. And again, I think this comes from yourself, an ex-Cole, at director's level, myself and Dan, that we push this to our staff, but we do genuinely want that feedback. I've got one final thing, and then I'm going to let you leave, because I know people have been bothering you last couple of hours. So one thing you've always mentioned before, and it's something that when I was looking to move to a new company, you said it's not a choice between being a leader, a father, or a man, let's say. How do you find that balance? It's something that most people in our industry really struggle with, but you're very adamant internally and externally pushing. Yeah. Why do you think that's important, and how do you embrace that ethos?
I mean, best to last. I love that question. It's number one, for me, it's an authentic feeling. Like, I genuinely feel it. I am happy to work long, hard, take on challenges, push myself, because it fuels me to provide for my family and be a good father. And then at home, finding that balance where I spend time with my son on a weekend. I get home just in time for bedtime a couple of days a week. For him, it makes the world a difference. So what I've realized, and I felt this, was what this feels like for me was so important that I want everyone, whether you have kids or not, whether you're married or not, it doesn't matter. This work-life balance phrase, I'd say, that's been put out isn't about leaving bang on 5 p.m. every day or 6 p.m. and forgetting work. It means something different for everyone. But we all spend so much time together. Yeah. We have to be able to have a chat about football, talk about how we're going to put the world to rights.
Less so with the football, please.
I mean, my team won at the weekend, so I'm talking about it again now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be using that as an example. But it's true. Like, for me, authenticity is right at the top. You've got to be real. You've got to be a good person. We can sacrifice moments of success, little small elements, for the greater good of having the right culture, the right environment, and having good people around us.
I'd like to add one more point. Approachable. Something that is maybe you never address, but you're a very approachable person, from my regional heads to my sales guys. Whenever they interact, you remember things, and that's what's nice.
I appreciate it.
It's good to have.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you so much for today.
Thanks, Fraser.
Great to chat to you. And please tune in for the next podcast and my next guest.